Okay, we got Bubblemaps and Nick, the CEO of Bubblemaps, with us. Let's see if we can get a mic check. Can we hear you guys loud and clear?
Hello, hello, Well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, loud and clear. How are you doing
Fantastic,
today?
man. Sorry for the delay, everyone. I was caught up in something else, but happy to be here.
Awesome. No worries at all. I wanted to thank you guys for your time, of course, and let everybody know again that we're going to be doing a $5,000 giveaway. So you do not want to go anywhere. It's, I think, the largest giveaway that we've done on these spaces. We do them every week with the top dApps, chains, traders, people like Bubblemaps. So you want to make sure to stay to the end of the spaces for your chance to win some BMT. So for those of you that don't know Nick, could you introduce yourselves and give us an overview of what Bubblemaps is and what you've been building?
My name is Nick. I'm the CEO of Bubblemaps. I'm 31 years old. Bubblemaps is a company that I co-founded with a couple of friends in 2022. It all started as just a fun project between friends. We didn't have this ambition initially. We're just messing around. And just with this idea that on-chain data should be more accessible, it should be more engaging, it should be playful. And because one of the premise of crypto is that on-chain data should be accessible for everyone. But the thing is, because it is so complex and overwhelming, nobody really does it. Nobody really does the classic due diligence that you're supposed to do on-chain. And so that's when we launched Bubblemaps, which is this entertaining, playful, colorful interface and way to make some research about tokens. And with this in mind, we started in 2022 on BNB chain, and it exploded out of nowhere because suddenly people they wanted to see the bubble map of their favorite tokens, and everybody started to share bubble maps around, and it grew into one of the biggest analytical tool for crypto today. So, yeah, here we are.
Amazing. Thank you for the introduction of yourself and Bubblemaps. We also have Headboy joining us today. He's a huge KOL in this space. So, for those of you that don't know, do you want to introduce yourself as well, Headboy, while we're making introductions?
GM everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm Ed Boy. I think quite familiar with everyone here. I'm a DeFi enthusiast and I put out like content like to educate people about the space and find a way to actually make money for my community. Yeah, so that's just basically it.
Awesome. Great to meet you. And again, thanks for having you. It's definitely our pleasure to host you guys. So we went into a little bit of Bubblemaps and what you've built, but for people that have never heard of it, could you explain it in simple terms? And what problem are you solving in the crypto space?
Absolutely. So to keep it very simple, bubble maps is a way to understand very quickly the ownership of a token. Because most of the time, when you check on the block explorers, you just see a list of holders with wallets and how much of the supply they own. But you're missing a key element. You're missing a key element, which is how the holders are connected. And based on the connection between the holders and the clusters that you see on screen, you can have a clear perspective on who are the key stakeholders of a token, who are the team wallets, who are the VCs, has there been any hidden undisclosed airdrop or pre-sale. So essentially just by seeing the connection between the holders of a token, you can see behind the scenes of a token. And this simple idea has proven to be very efficient to detect wallet manipulation or just tokens that are heavily bundled. I'm sure bundled is a term that you've seen on crypto Twitter a lot. And supply control. Supply control meaning that somebody or a group of people, a group of connected people, control a large percentage of the supply of a token. Therefore, they can dump at any time and they can dump the price to zero. So this is something you want to avoid. Most of the time, when you invest into, I'm just going to talk about meme coin for a second because utility token are different. But when you invest into a meme coin, you want to make sure that the supply is distributed, it's decentralized, that nobody can have a huge incident on the token performance. So that's when the idea of a bubble map is so relevant. And people nowadays, I'm particularly flattered because they talk about bubble maps as a common word. You know, they say, let's check the bubble map of this token. Like it's a not a brand, but a concept. And for me as a founder, this is extremely flattering. And it's a testament of the fact that it's part of the culture now of crypto.
I want to congratulate you on all the hard work that you guys have done. And I totally agree with you. I'm in a lot of trading groups, alpha groups, whatever you want to call it. And the term, as you mentioned, that's been coined, let's bubble maps it. It's quite cool. I mean, a lot of hard work has went into it. So definitely want to congratulate you on that. And as you mentioned, diving into the blockchain explorer, doing it all manual, it can get confusing, especially for people that are newcomers. They're just starting out, and then being proficient at Etherscan is one thing, but then you go to SolScan and different blockchains, and there's a lot of homework that you need to get done, and it might just leave you confused. So you guys turn it into a visual intelligence on chain. But how does it actually help traders, analysts, and even regular investors spot trends, or more important, red flags?
No, for sure. I think you summarized it very well. There's so many chains nowadays, and you mentioned Etherscan and the SolScan, but like it's not going to stop here. There are so many chains coming, Bera chain, recently Hyperliquid Core, Hyperliquid EVM, and Monad, and it's going to be a never-ending list of new chains and new ecosystems. And for regular investors, you want to have a quick kind of a one pager, one way to understand. In one glance, this is the what I was looking at. In one glance, you want to make sure you're not investing into an obvious rug. And if you want to do this for hundreds of tokens a day, I know some of our users are deep trenches people. Well, you need bubble maps in your repertoire to make sure you're not going to get that farmed. So yeah, definitely useful for this. And then in regards to red flag, I'd say this is going to be pretty basic what I'm going to say, but most of the time, when you invest into a token, as a general rule of thumbs, you want to make sure that there is no cluster above 20% of the supply. I'm talking about meme coin again because I know there's a lot of meme coin investor here. So above 20% of the supply is a huge no-no. And then above 10% of the supply in a cluster is when you want to start looking into it more. You want to ask questions in the Telegram group. You want to maybe share the cluster in the Telegram group, a screenshot, and see their response. If they're trying to hide or if they ban you from the group, you have your answer. If they're being transparent about it, if they have an answer, let's say a genuine, legitimate answer, then it's a good sign. And in regard to, because you mentioned red flag and you said like what are the common patterns, I would say not every cluster is necessarily, or not every single time is necessarily a red flag. Sometimes it can be indicative of a, just a wallet distributing rewards, for example, that happened in the past some of the time, or it can be a pre-sale that happened, maybe undisclosed, but it's not necessarily the same guy or the same group of people. But yeah, most of the time, a cluster tells you a story, and you have to understand this story. Sorry, I went a bit on a on a speech here, but you get the idea.
No, I love to hear it straight from the CEO. And since we're talking about these clusters that might help you, find maybe some early alpha or suspicious patterns, can we talk about use cases, how people are actually using bubble maps today? I follow the Twitter. The intern does an amazing job. You guys post some really great information and facts and on chain, whatever you guys find on chain. But maybe you can give us two stories: a hero story and maybe a zero story. Maybe finding a trader finding some suspicious patterns and selling before there's a rug, or maybe somebody using bubble maps to make a ton of money. Maybe you can share two standout
Yeah,
stories.
no, definitely, man. I have some pretty unique stories to share. Let me go right
and
straight to the
and
point.
sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off, but I definitely want to hear these stories. But everybody that's here and listening and wants a chance to win $5,000 from the great guys from Bubble Maps, you guys need to retweet these spaces and please post your question on the same tweet. So retweet the spaces tweet and please post your question, because we're going to pull up as many people as possible to ask questions at the end of the spaces. Sorry to cut you off, Nick, and would love to hear these stories.
no worries at all, my friend. So I was about to go with some pretty big stories, actually. The first one is Trump. I'm sure everybody here is aware that Trump launched a token earlier this year. Time is flying out. Was already in January, and when he launched his token, I remember it was a Saturday morning here in Europe, and everybody woke up to the madness. But at the time, everybody was wondering, is this an actual Trump token? Because it's not the first time we've seen, let's say, an official Trump token or a rumor of a Trump token. If you remember DGT before, Donald Jr. Donald Jr. Trump token, whatever that was called. But it ended up, people believed it was Trump or Eric Trump or some of the other son of Trump, but it ended up being Martin Shkreli, so a bit of a disappointment. So that was not the real one. And when this official Trump token came up, then everybody was wondering, like, did Trump got hacked? Because he posted both on Twitter and Truth Social. Already, I mean, if you get hacked on both social media, this is unlikely. But you know, in crypto, people can go they can go very deep to just get some to profit on somebody else's name. So it wouldn't have been a total surprise. Anyway, so when we saw this token this morning, the first thing we did is we checked the bubble map. And what we saw was actually super interesting because although this map was pretty centralized, there was one token, there was actually one wallet holding 80%, which goes contrary to what I just said before about above 20%. But it was fully explained in the tokenomics because he shared a tokenomics page called like trumpmeme.com. And in this page, he said, look, there's going to be 80% of the supply for the trading card game, split into 20% for the season one, 10% season two, 20% season three, etc. And the thing is, when most of the meme coins, they don't have any tokenomics page. But when the tokenomics, which is off chain, right? This is just a Wikipedia page, match the on chain distribution, this is a very healthy sign. This is a very good sign. At least you have nothing to hide. So then people, they can invest knowing everything. They knew there was this wallet and it was up to them to make this decision. And when we posted this tweet, we said, look, this looks like a real Trump token. I know that many people invested based on our tweet, and this was like a go signal for many people to invest. And yeah, some people, I suppose, made decent amount or decent multiplier on this. So that's my first story. While, and I can share another one, which is the opposite if you want.
Of course. I mean, great job on catching Trump. And like you said, there's a few red flags in previous coins launched. So it's definitely hard to know what's legit or what's not. But tools like that definitely help you, give you an edge, and give you more confluence and more conviction on your trades. So that's a huge one. I saw players make huge bag on Trump coins. So let's hear the opposite though. Let's hear something. I mean, unfortunately, it happens. People lose their money, and rugs happen every day. But with tools like this, you can avoid them, of course, by still doing your research and digging deeper. But it's a lot more efficient using something like Bubblemaps. So definitely up for another story.
It happens actually quite a lot. I think for one runner you have 1,000 losers. So definitely hard to pick the right coin, especially now with the rhythm of new tokens. I think I'm not sure exactly about the numbers, but in the peak of Fun, it was a couple millions token every month. So obviously picking the right one, the runner who's going to reach incredible height is increasingly difficult. But going back to the example, so I shared about Trump, which is a presidential token, and I want to share about another presidential token, which is Libra from Javier Milei. So obviously, it was not too long after Trump, so everybody was ready to jump into all these president tokens, thinking it was the next, I don't know, the next meta or whatever you want to call it. But it ended up not being the case because the thing is, when we saw this token launch, Libra, immediately we saw something was off. So the first point is that there was no tokenomics page. Remember what I said about Trump? At least there was a tokenomics page. And second, the bubble map was looking suspicious, very suspicious, because the main cluster was not locked at all, meaning they could sell the token at any point, at any time. When you have big bubble, big wallet, big clusters, if they're locked on chain, I mean, this is you might as well not have any tokens. So this is because they cannot sell. So this is a good point. But with Libra, it was not locked. And what we saw is very quickly they ended up selling through one-sided LP on Meteora. I'm not going to get into the specifics of how it works, but it's a way to sell without appearing on the Dex screener transactions, if you know what I mean, or DEXTools transactions. Because you maybe on DEXTools actually, there, do you have this? Well, just making sure, like when somebody remove on just a one-sided LP, do you catch this transaction?
Yeah, I believe we do actually catch the removal and adding liquidity, but it's very smart on their end for them to do it that way. So they, you know, try to keep it low key on the sell side.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, maybe now it's more mainstream, but at the time it was not super common to do this, and most of the people didn't see it. So when we posted this, we said, look, some huge amount of Libra are being sold by this one-sided LP. Everybody started to panic, and just a couple of hours later, Javier Milei deleted his tweets, and we know how it ended up. Then, this huge drama in Argentina, some impeachment, some people try to impeach Javier Milei, and there is now some hearings in Argentina right now in the Congress about this, and it ended up. At the end of the day, we knew that it was Hayden Davis and Kelsier Venters who actually launched the token. It was not Javier Milei directly. It was
Mhm.
super messy.
Yeah, how much did they make? Approximately $100 million off that launch.
Yeah,
Insane.
more than 100 million they made.
Yeah, and they would have kept rinsing and repeating the same playbook if they didn't get caught. And tools like Bubblemaps definitely helps retail traders, investors to make that informed decision. So I mean, you really got to congratulate yourself on the tool that you've built, and that's insane. The two different stories with two different presidents. One, I mean, did quite well for the first few days, and now it's kind of in the gutters. But the other president just straight down as soon as
Yeah.
launch, and that's why it's important to have the right team, honest, loyal people in your circle, which you don't get these days often, unfortunately. So, you guys have integrated across major platforms. I don't think you've left anything behind. CoinGecko, Etherscan. You guys just integrated into DEXTools this week. For everybody that is not aware, you can actually bubble maps on DEXTools directly. How important are these integrations, and how does it enhance the bubble maps experience?
If you want to be mainstream, you got to adapt to the crypto industry. So for us, the way we did it is instead of fighting against or fighting for the same user base, we'd be competing with, I don't know, maybe the block explorers, we'd be competing maybe with Arcam or Nansen or the other analytics. We said, look, instead, let's spread this vision, this visual on all the popular crypto website, because this way, instead of fighting for the same user, we add them up. And so when we started doing this, we're doing it, it was very early in our journey. We thought that would be a good idea. Everybody welcomed this with open arms. Everybody was super happy to have Bubblemaps on their website because this way they could have this experience of checking the on-chain distribution of tokens straight from natively from their website. And as you said, we're now on CoinGecko, on Axiom, Photon, and DexTools, DexTools being our latest edition. Super happy about it. And yeah, I think our go-to market has been primarily through this integration. So we're very proud. And the strategy for us is similar to TradingView. TradingView is, it's one of the most visited website. It's actually insane the traffic they do. But I don't think
Of
most of the
course, I use
users
it every day.
are you going to TradingView directly?
Yeah, I go to TradingView directly, but I have a few websites, of course, Dex Tools, TradingView, and a few other websites that I kind of just use every day out of habit, right? I
Yeah.
have my preference and my setups, you can call them. And, of course, I check Dex Tools first on my mobile when I wake up, but when I hit my desk and I have my TradingView open, I have all my tools.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. But for me personally, I never use TradingView directly, the website, but I use TradingView because it is embedded on it on all the crypto website that I use. So they've managed to kind of, you know, how to say this, infiltrate my computer without me ever knowing. And I found this strategy to be so smart that I was like, yeah, let's do the same. And we have our chart. It's not a price chart with candles, but it's a bubble chart showing the on-chain distribution of tokens. And I think we can follow a similar strategy at least. And this is why we did it.
Awesome. Thank you for your insight, and it's been definitely a pleasure speaking and learning more about bubble maps and how you guys are really taking over the space. And I love that trading view. The playbook that they're running, and I didn't really notice until you mentioned it. They are integrated in pretty much every trading terminal, so whether you know it or not, you're using TradingView, all their indicators, tools, features, and you guys are doing the same thing. So I love it. We have DeFi Princess who just joined us as well. If you want to introduce yourself, a little bit about what you're doing in the crypto space, and any great things you have to share about Bubble Maps if you used it, or even if you haven't used it.
Oh, hi, hello. I've actually been using Bubble. I think I met with Nick earlier. I don't know if he's still the one handling the account. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
you. Yeah, we actually have Nick
All right.
live with us right now, and he's killing the
Yeah,
AMA
I
actually. So
remember
yeah, still here,
the
still
face.
CEO.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I've been using I've actually used bubble maps a lot, but I think I stopped using them since we moved from BSC to Solana. So that's basically why I stopped. But I mostly follow their threads. What I really do in the spaces, I don't know, I write content and I trade. I don't know, there's nothing more. There's nothing more like more to say about that though. That's just who I am, I guess.
Awesome. Thank you for your introduction. Trade, write content, and share memes, of course. And you brought up a great point using you on BSC, Solana, different chains. It leads into what I was going to ask. And what chains and assets do you guys currently support? And how do you guys choose where to expand? Which ecosystems you guys are going to start developing on? Where are you guys at? What are you guys looking forward to integrate next in terms of the chains?
For us, when picking a new chain is based on user demand. So as soon as there is a huge demand on a new chain, we try to be there. We try to be present on as many ecosystems as possible. But it's also based on the agreement we find with the chain, because integrating a new chain is a heavy, let's say, a computationally heavy process. It's not as simple as just adding a token on Bubble Maps. We have to get the data, get the live streaming, get the historical data, and it's a technical challenge. So we cannot just click fingers and have a new chain. So usually we get in touch with them. We try to secure an agreement. We make nice co-announcements. It's always an opportunity to create some noise around it. So right now we've made partnership with so many cool chains, man. Like DeFi Princess, you mentioned BSC, absolutely BNB chain. We work with them. Solana, we work with them. We're good friends with their team. They've been super supportive. Tron, Ton, Sonic, um, Ethereum we added, although we're not discussing with them directly, but of course Ethereum is super important, and yeah, and a couple of others, Ape Chain as well, Base, just to name a few, but we have so many more that are coming. It's not as we don't have as many chains as you guys, the DEXTools, but hopefully we'll get there one day.
Thanks for the shout out. I mean, for people that don't know, we have 100 plus chains integrated. You could trade literally millions of tokens and access the bubble maps directly on the platform now. So you don't even need to go anywhere. A lot of people, when they hear data, they think it's just for pros. How easy is it for new traders or even just casual users to benefit from bubble maps? Like, should everybody be checking it out and using it? What are your thoughts on that?
100%. I think just bubble it, as we say. Before investing into a token, it takes literally 1 second of your time to click on the Bubble Maps button on DEX tools, and you have this. You wait for this to load, and you have the Bubble map of the token. And if you see some huge clusters, then don't invest. You're gonna get wrecked. And I understand that when you trade meme coins, sometimes you need to be real quick, and it's a matter of minutes, maybe seconds sometimes. But trust me, you're going to improve your performance drastically if you take these 10 seconds of your time just to open the map. You add the magic nodes, which is something maybe I'm going to touch on right now, and then you can see if there is any shady action going on. Just one click. And maybe while to mention magic nodes, it's a very cool feature that we've added on V2. Essentially, with Bubblemaps, by default, you can see the top 250 holders of a token and how they're connected together. And connected means that they've sent each other funds, whether it is Solana or other meme coins or USDC. As long as there is a transfer on chain, the wallets or the bubbles are going to be connected. So this is the basic principle. 250 holders and how they're mutually connected. But the thing is, sometimes you're missing on connection between the holders because they involve intermediary wallets that are not holding, that are not amongst the top holders. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're a big whale of a token. You're holding 10% of the supply, and you send out everything you own to 10 wallets. Then those 10 wallets are not going to appear connected because the initial wallet has been emptied in the process. And because it's been emptied, it's not amongst the top holders. So the 10 remaining recipients are not connected to anyone, which is misleading because they actually receive the token from the same point. So they should all be connected. And that's when Magic Nodes comes into play. So when you click on Magic Nodes, you add intermediary wallets onto the map that reveal hidden clusters, so to speak. Does it make sense? Well, what I'm saying?
No, it totally makes sense. I was actually using Bubblemaps to try and do some research on some of the transfers and just try to track down where some of the funds are going, and I think this is what I was missing out on, the magic node feature, which I wasn't even aware of. So I'm going to go back and actually see if that makes any changes, but that's definitely very cool. And how do people access it? I mean, as you're mentioning it up, so how do I mention, or how do I get access to it? Is it free for V2 users? Do you need to hold the token, which I was going to actually ask about right now? And you kind of covered everything about bubble maps, the history of bubble maps, how people can use it for their benefit, for having an edge when trading. But like, let's talk about the token BMT. What is the utility, and how do you see it play a role in while your platform is growing with users and integrations and adoptions across the map?
Oh man, that's a topic that excites me, and we have a lot coming in this realm. And so, in regards to how to access Bubble Maps, right now it is completely free. You can just go on v2.bubblemaps.io. You create an account, and you can basically explore any tokens for free without any limits. Or you can simply go on DEXTools or CoinGecko, for example, and access the bubble map directly from here. So that's the easy answer. And then in regards to BMT, yes, we launched our token. It was on March 11 of this year, so it's been 5 months, and it's been a hell of a launch, man. Like the token was listed 1 week after TGE on Binance, and now it's on basically everywhere: Kraken, Bybit, BitHum, BitGet, KuCoin, Crypto.com. Sorry, there's so many. I forgot some of them, I'm sure. But yeah, it's basically trading everywhere. And so what's the token utility? We're going to release a new platform very, very soon now. It's imminent. And it's a platform that we already announced. It's called the Intel Desk. Now, initially, the Intel Desk was a governance for investigations, meaning that if you hold BMT, you could decide what the investigators of Babmaps would be investigating, creating this kind of a game theory field where some people would have BMT to investigate other projects or trying not to be investigated, like a funny field for investigations. But we actually moved from this and we pivoted slightly. And this new platform that we pivoted from is going to be released very soon, and it's such a great pivot that we did because it allowed us to fit into a way broader narrative that is very hot right now, similar to maybe Kaido or Cookie. And I think it's going to greatly benefit everybody who's currently holding BMT, give it way more utility that with this first vision that we had. So that's on the Intel desk. And second, we are also, after this Intel desk release, we're going to focus back on integrating BMT onto Bubblemaps V2. A bit similar to what you guys did with your token Dext. I know there's some utility connected to DEXTools. So it's something we also want to play around with Bubblemaps V2 and BMT.
Amazing. I mean, yeah, integrating the token, regardless if it's a burn or just brings some more value back to the holders in the ecosystem, you can't go wrong doing that. And a new platform, can't wait for it. DeFi Princess and Headboy, I want to ask the both of you too, anybody who wants to answer, when you guys are, in the trenches looking for meme coins or looking to make a trade, what are kind of some like red flags or even some check marks on your criterias that's like, okay, is it the maybe the holder count, the amount of holders, volumes, the clusters? Are there any particular things you guys look at to maybe give you, a go into investing, or like, okay, this is, not looking good. I'm gonna, chill out and take a step back and look for the next token.
Okay, hi. I don't know if Headboy wants to speak, but I don't know. I'll go since I don't know. I didn't hear from him. So,
Yeah, you're up. You're up. Go for
all
it.
right. So mainly, what I look out for is I don't know. It's been long. I traded. How would I explain it? It's been long. I traded mean like daily runners because those are volatile. But when I used to, what I used to notice is I don't know, bundling. If a lot of people are holding a good amount of supply, like it looks good. I think Bubble Maps like kind of connects those wallets because most times people it looks as if they own one wallet but they own like five or ten. Usually it's used to maintain supply, but before bonding that's not a good look. Or even after bonding, it's not even a good look. Bonding on the bonding curve, I'm sure you guys understand that. So usually that's mainly my go-to. If I see a bundled coin, I don't know, I just don't buy that. And that's the red flag I look out for. Another one would be, I don't know, very high volume, a very high volume on a very low market cap. Let's say because of the fact that I don't know, wallets allow a creation of 10 wallets. You can like on some of these platforms you can have I think 10 wallets. You can open 10 wallets and buy all 10 wallets at once. So on the blockchain it looks like you're snipers. So you have 10 wallets opening taking trades with like let's say $1,000 each. That's 10K volume in and out, and they do that 5 times, and they make let's say 100K from a coin that hasn't even gotten to $50,000 market cap. So when that happen, when that usually happens, I usually tend to stay away from it because after they're done bundling and they're out of the coin, they vamped the coin already. Then everything goes back to normal. You're seeing a coin at 15K with over 300K volume, and that doesn't really look good. And even make it worse, that's just in the first 15 minutes. 10 minutes tops. So I usually stay away from coins like that because they're usually coins that are based on info. Like let's say someone because let's say someone tells you okay the coin is going to do well, so automatically you base your money based on that person's reputation, and then you go all in, and when you don't want to lose you go all out too. So those kind of things I usually stay from those type of coins because I don't know, they never end well. I usually tend to base things off of let's say my patterns, my intuition, I guess. So that's all.
Thank you for sharing. I mean, of course, totally agree with you with the heavy bundled tokens. I mean, we already have a ton of odds against us, so why stack up worse odds when you know these wallets are waiting to dump on you? So, definitely agree with you. Headboy, did you want to comment, or should we just keep moving it forward? Nick, we have over almost 200 questions. So I hope you're ready for some of these questions. We have over 300 to 500 listeners tuning in. So yeah, let's just keep it going. For anyone who hasn't tried Bubble Maps yet, I mean, after hearing you speak about it, people are definitely going to want to check it out. Any tips on how to get the most value out of using Bubble Maps, the platform? What would you suggest?
I think there's definitely a learning experience at first when you jump into Bubblemaps because maybe you're going to see some clusters and maybe you're going to be unsure about what they mean So I think the best way to start is just definitely to use it. Use it as soon as you check a token, you open the iframe on DEXTools, you check it out, and you go on the Telegram group of the token and you ask questions. And this way you're going to build some kind of pattern recognition. And a cluster is then, instead of just being a random, colorful shape, it's going to tell you a story. And very quickly, by just using it and building your own experience, you're going to be able to represent a behavior behind a cluster. And that's going to be a drastic difference. So it's like everything in life. You got to try it out. You got to use it again and again until you learn it, until you master it, and then everything becomes easier once you have it to your arsenal.
Awesome. I totally agree with you. I mean, if you haven't, try it once. It could literally save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on how much you're trading with. And more importantly, your time. I mean, as we mentioned before, going into Etherscan, SoulScan, or whatever chain scan that you're using, and digging through the wallets, trying to find where they're funded from, who they're sending the tokens to, and how they're splitting up all their balances. It's quite hard, and you could just see it, not only see it, but in a visually pleasing manner from Bubblemaps, which will save you, as I mentioned, time and your hard-earned money, and it could avoid a ton of rugs. So, I mean, there's many tools on the market, Nick, but how do you guys keep planning to grow Bubblemaps? You guys have done great, not easy, but um, an amazing job so far. So how do you keep plan to keep on building Bubblemaps ecosystem, both in terms of user adoption and community engagement, Nick?
I think at this point it's more horizontal growth because the platform as it is, I think it's pretty comprehensive. We've added what we wanted to add, although there's going to be some additions here and there. But the magic nodes, the time travel, so you can rewind the tape of a token, explore it over time. So what I mean by horizontal growth is you want to be on as many chains as possible, reaching 100+ chains like you guys did, and just following the trends in the new chain, etc. Then we also want to expand on more platforms, more analytics, more exchanges, decentralized exchanges. We really want Bubble Maps to be everywhere, like a chart, like TradingView. So that's the two main points. And then one key element is how to grow BMT, because now we're a token company. And you know how it is. Once you have a token, everybody revolves around the token. This is the most important element now that we have. And everything else is how to serve this token. So I think moving forward, we have the release of the Intel Desk that is coming. And the Intel Desk is going to be a super big chapter for us because it's going to be very complementary to Bubblemaps, allowing us to cover some other investigations that we couldn't really do with Bubblemaps in the first place. Don't want to reveal too much, but it's going to serve us in a big time. And yeah, apart from this, I would say just building the token ecosystem. Just allowing some builders to build upon the token, lending and borrowing, and everything that DeFi has to offer. The token is on BNB and Solana, so we have some opportunities to do some very cool partnerships there.
Oh, I love it, cross chain. So I know that you've shared. You got the Intel desk coming. You guys are going to be working on the token, and I'm a big believer that the token and the platform, two different animals. So I love that you touched on. You got to focus now on the token, the growth of the token, bringing back to the community, bringing value back to the holders, and you're aware that the token needs a lot of separate focused work than the platform itself. So I love that you got that going on as well. And I know, as I said earlier, you got the Intel desk coming on. And why I'm bringing it up is because, like, what's next for Bubblemaps? You guys are integrated into DEXTools this week, but can you share or tease any upcoming features, partnerships, or even alpha you can share? And I know you've shared so much with us already, so I'm not sure you have much more you could say here, but
So
we'd love to hear it.
maybe one piece to touch back on what you said about the token. I think, yeah, once you release a token, and this may be a cautionary tale for any founders listening, when you launch a token, everything, sorry, changes for your company. And there was definitely some comfort in with the way we were before. without, let's say, without this level of a token. But there's also definitely level of excitement that comes with having BMT, which is a token with way more stakes, with way more people involved and way more expectations. But also it's a way to embrace the ecosystem in a way that's not possible if you don't have a token. And for me, seeing this crypto space that I love so much, I was feeling a bit guilty being half in, not all in. And I think right now with the token and the tool, it makes sense, and it allows us really to build way deeply and something way more comprehensive that aligns more with the space. And with this in mind, meaning that now everything revolves around the token, I think one of the best way to push your token is to fit within the right narrative. At the end of the day, it's a narrative-driven industry. And for us, that what we've seen recently is, the InfoFi narrative being very strong, and this is a bet that we're taking for the future is to fit into the InfoFi narrative, but reinvent this slightly because I think the way it's done right now, InfoFi has turned into empty shilling, empty token shilling, and it hasn't been done the right way. I think we're just like promoting AI generated content to shield tokens that nobody cares about. I don't think this is how it's supposed to be done. So we're going to use InfoFi in a way that's more virtuous, in my opinion. But let's see what people think about it when the Intel desk is released.
Really looking forward to trying out the Intel desk and super excited for it. I hope you're ready. We have over 300 questions, Nick. I do want to thank you, and it's been my pleasure learning everything more about Bubblemaps that I didn't know, and I believe everybody here has got a tremendous amount of value. So first of all, thank you for your time, Nick, and thanks for allowing us to host Bubblemaps on the space. We have a ton of people waiting to ask questions. We're going to get through as many as possible, and then we'll see you guys next week. So again, Nick and everybody here, thank you guys for joining us. It's been amazing space, and we'll start pulling people up one by one, and then we'll call you guys speaker by speaker. So please be patient, and let's get it rolling. So we are going to be bringing the first 5 speakers to ask their questions, and we'll wait for them to load up, and then we'll get it going.
I love what you guys are doing. I like how Bubblemaps is visual. You can see everything. Whereas on chain, you're just looking at addresses and a bunch of different stuff like that. Whereas Bubblemaps is visual, so it's easier for the average user to track things. I just had a question. I was wondering if you guys plan on allowing users to build and share custom bubbles and visualizations or dashboards.
Thank you for the kind words, man. I appreciate it. Yes, we already have it on V2 actually. Maybe it's not a very well known feature just yet, but what you can do is once you've created or once you've looked into a map, you can essentially add as many wallets as you want. So it works a bit like a tracer, but instead of starting from one point, from one wallet, you can start from one bubble map and add as many addresses as you want to create, I would say, to dig deeper into the distribution. Sometimes it's necessary. It's something you can do, and then you can save it and share it anywhere on Twitter and any other social. So yeah, this is something that you can already do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I still need to check out the site, browse a little bit more, so I'm gonna do that. But thank you very much.
All right. Thanks. Okay. So, thanks for having this space. My name is Ugo, and co-founder of Asset Chain, and just trying to reach out. I've been trying to reach out to DEXTools for a couple of months, and we're trying to get our blockchain. It's an EVM compatible chain integrated on DEXTools. And when I saw the DEXTools and Bubblemaps, I was like, well, I think this is just killing 2 birds with a stone, because we are also trying to get Bubblemaps on board. Yeah. So, but I think my question would be to DEXTools first. How do we get our blockchain supported on DEXTools? And actually, just for context, our blockchain is the first public EVM chain built by Africans. So my background is in engineering, been building for 9 years. And yeah, so we are based out of Nigeria, but our chain is live And yeah, we're trying to see how to get our protocol on DEXTools so people can find our chain and all that. Yes, I don't know if we have. I've been sending a ton of DMs though. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Well, thank you for reaching out. And first, thank you for trusting us to have you guys integrated into the platform. The DEXTools Twitter definitely gets a lot of messages, so I apologize if yours was overlooked. But send me a message, send me a DM, and I'll make sure that you're taken care of.
Thank you so much, Abe. I'll send you a DM right away. I think it's Abe, right? I don't know who is it. Wal or Abe?
Yeah, it's YL.
Okay, Wal. Okay, sorry. The Twitter Spaces is making it seem like Abe is the one speaking.
It's
Okay.
all right. Yeah,
Okay.
no, we have a lot of people requesting to speak and ask
Okay.
questions. We have a lot of people posting questions, so it might have got
Okay.
quite clogged. So no problem. Did you have a question for Bubblemaps and Nick?
Okay, yeah, just trying to know how do we get integrations into Bubblemaps as well? How do we do that? Is it sending a DM or reaching out directly on your website? It's for the blockchain, yes.
My question is, if a CTO like publicizes his or her address, can you put that like their X handle next to their address on Bubblemaps?
Right now, no, we don't include the Twitter or the Telegram on the map, but it's actually something we want to do. Just after the Intellidesk release, it's part of the, let's say, gamification element or BMT utility that we want to attach to Bubmaps V2. So, I mean, I know this is not gonna concern you right now because you're looking to add it right now, but definitely be on the lookout for this. This is something we want to include and play around with after the Intellidesk release.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
In the meantime, though, just in the meantime, if there's any labels, yeah, that you want to add to your map,
Yeah.
as a CTO, maybe there's some specific address you want to disclose, like this is our treasury wallet, this is our or the previous owner wallet, or anything like that. This is something we can help with. If that's the case, feel free to reach out.
Yes, I'll reach out. We have game reward distributions or a play to earn. Well, in the solo mode, you can play to earn, and so you can play our games, earn our tokens. And in our PvP mode, you can wager tokens, face another player, win 90% of the pot, 10% is burned. Very simple tokenomics, very deflationary, and we want every gamer to win. Holding Outlaw. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your question. Let's get Hadi up next, and then we have a few more speakers coming on as well.
Hey guys, my question is for Nick. Like you were saying, you have like Bubble Maps has a lot of new features that you guys are rolling out. And my question was just what's your personal new feature that you guys have rolled out, and what scenario do you think it's like most useful for the user base?
I'd say Magic Nodes is definitely the number one feature that we've added that changed everything. Because as I mentioned previously before, when you were looking at a map, you were just seeing the connection between the current holders of a token. But this was essentially leaving a lot of blind spots sometimes because if you're only looking at the current holders, you're going to miss on some intermediaries, on some wallets that might have been holding before but are empty right now. And if you were to add it to your map, you would see so much more. So essentially now, what you got to do is check a map, add the magic nodes, and the story is so much more complete that if you were just to look at the default bubble map. So yeah, magic nodes made, I like to say, a lot of scammers hate us even more.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm gonna definitely check that out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question, Hadi. And if, as you guys heard, check it out yourselves, and then you can see the huge edge you have when trading.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know how Bubble Maps and DEXTools plan to attract non-crypto users to their projects. There's this trend of social login that it just keeps on new trends, ways of making Web2 users being onboarded just keep on coming on.
Well, the tool is for crypto users. How would you do it well? How would you attract non-crypto users to DEXTools?
It would start with education, I guess. Educate them and then onboard them, have that funnel or ramp. But same thing with Bubblemaps, I guess. Maybe education.
You know what? I'd say I'd have a more controversial answer. I think
Yeah,
if you want to onboard non-crypto users, it has to go through entertainment and drama. So some of the threads that
I
we've
like that.
done, some of the threads that we've done, where we called out, the Andrew Tate or the Iggy Azalea,
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
popular non-crypto figure, and calling them out for launching basically scams or bundled tokens, have done more. I'm not sure if it's attracting people or deterring people from using crypto, but at least we've reached a non-crypto audience.
I like that take as well. It's a great question, and you have to think outside of the box. So let's move on to Barry.
So my question for Bubblemac, I just want to know like what do you work on across multiple blockchain network, and if so, like which chain do you currently support? And I don't know, like in the future, your future plans, do you have like plans to expand to more networks?
Yeah, absolutely. We have around 10 chains right now, which are the most used chains: Solana Base, Ethereum, BNB, Sonic, Ton, Tron, Ape Chain, and more. And we want to be on as many chains as we can, but there's definitely a question of which chain do you add first, because it's not like we have unlimited resource. So you got to make some choices, and you got to make some priorities as well. So for us, yeah, we want to be on as many chains, but we try to pick the ones that are the most active and where there is the most user demand.
Awesome. Thank you for the question as always. And Nick, I think we went through almost 10 questions. I know we're supposed to pick 20 winners. Do you have time for more questions? Should we pick some of the winners out of the 400, almost 500 comments that are left on the tweet?
Yeah. Uh,
What are you feeling like?
Actually, I have to drop. I was about to say it. So maybe we can you can pick some of the best questions or the ones you deem the most relevant, even though I didn't give the answer, but that could be a that could be a way to do it.
Okay, well, what we'll do
Can you hear
is
me?
everybody who got a chance to give a question. Okay, Barry's here. It will be the last question if you have time. If not, then it's totally understandable.
Hello, can you hear me?
We could hear you, but Nick might have to hit the road.
Okay. How is Bubble Maps ensuring that its platform remains user friendly, if even as more complex chains and datasets are added over time?
All right, I see. So you're asking about how we keep it simple and user friendly. So I think at the end of the day, whether we add chains or more ecosystems, the map are still going to stay the same, look the same, and all the complexity is going to be hidden for the users. They're still going to see the exact same patterns and connection, and we're going to try to remove a lot of the complexity from the user. So this normally should be quite well covered. And yeah, that would be the final question I'll take. But well, thank you so much for having me, man. You're a great host. I love the energy, and we're super excited to be working with DEXTools. You guys, as I said to Frederick, you were one of the first charting website that we work with the backlink, and now I feel like going to this next level of integration is a great honor. So super excited for this.
Thank you for the kind words, and likewise, it's truly been our pleasure to host you guys. So thank you for your time. I don't want to hold you up any longer. Appreciate everything you've done for the platform, for all the traders, and keep crushing it, guys. We'll see you guys very soon. Thank you, as always, and see everybody here next week. Thanks for all the questions. We're going to pick the best questions that were asked. So don't worry if you weren't chosen, you still have a chance to win big in BMT. So thank you, Nick. Thank you, Bubble Maps. And thank you, everybody, for showing up. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.